Subscribe to Film Companion for your film fix. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.
Hey guys, welcome to Spill the Tea with me, Sneha. Well, honestly, the show's title is kind of ironic right now because I'm predicting that by the end of this episode, there's going to be a lot of tea spilling, literally. So here's a disclaimer. Even a pandemic hasn't got me into the kitchen. So my guest on the show, Minnie Mathur, has very kindly agreed to teach me how to brew the perfect cup of tea while sitting at my dining table. That's right. I'm not getting up from here. I'm waiting with all my ingredients for her to get on the show and show us how it's done. Hey Minnie, welcome to Spill the Tea.
Thank you, Sneha. I've been wanting to have tea with you on your show.
Which is perfect. You know, going by your Instagram, you've been having such a productive lockdown. And I was just telling everyone that I've survived courtesy my husband cooking for us. So you're going to teach me how to brew a cup of tea as a thank you to him. And I'm very grateful.
I can do this thing for you. Yeah, I think so. Also, I think my lockdown has been productive, but it's been productive by force. I mean, it's not like I have chosen to create all these things. I think it's a bit like the life is beautiful syndrome. You want to make your kids believe like it's just a game and this lockdown is not really happening, and you try and make each day interesting. So you try and wear a chef apron and do stuff, and try to keep every day different, and that's how it's been for me as well. But you're lucky you've got a husband who cooks. Mine can't crack an egg.
So I am that person in the relationship. I want to know from you, since it's lockdown, we're going to keep the ingredients really simple.
Yeah.
What I want to say up front is that when I told you that I've been making tea at a gas, you said I've been drinking really effed up tea all my life.
Yeah, because it's like for me, tea is very sacred, and I just feel that of course there are different types. So now you have chai latte or whatever the shit it's called abroad, which I can't stand. But I just feel that the kind of tea we make regularly is nothing but a kada. You cook it till it dies and the antioxidants just disappear, and you've just cooked it, and what you're having is just thick milk and sugar and just flavored tea. The real joy of having is to actually taste the flavor and the bouquet, like you taste wine. Tea is very much like that, and I feel I have a fear. There's a fear for everything. My fear is called tepidophobia, which basically means it's actually the fear of a badly made cup of tea. So when you said, will I need a gas? I was like, no. You just need boiling water. You can do that in a kettle. So should we go? You have everything sorted. You have your.
Please tell me, what are we looking at? We're looking at some loose tea leaves.
We're definitely looking at loose tea leaves, and I'm very, very impressed with you for having got some. Okay. Because normally people...
my neighbor, you should know. I'm a very red label tea kind of person. So I went running to my neighbor. What are neighbors for in lockdown?
So red label tea is not a bad idea. But then when you make that adrak chai sort of a concoction, then that has to go with like mitti ka cooler and all of that. That's a different thing altogether. That's not what we are doing today. So yes, ideally, I have also got my favorite tea out here, which is orange pekoe Darjeeling, and your leaves, whether it's first flush Darjeeling or second flush, it all depends on how, that's how the tip of the leaves would be. And they need different temperatures to open their bouquet. So this is the one I've been using for years and I love it. Ideally, I'm sure you don't have it, but eventually you can order a tea measure, So there are these kind of simpler tea measures which tell you how much tea per cup you need. So if you're making for one person or two person, it's all marked out. That's right. This would do for now. This is no, I got the simpler one. Now, another thing that I think is really important is that, ever since I was a child, tea's been such a ceremony in my house with my grandmom, ruling the table. And so we used to warm. The most important thing is to warm your teapot and your teacup. Okay. Now, there's a science to this. It's just that it's like how you heat buffet dinner plates when you're at a really fancy place. It's not disturb the temperature of the tea. So I've got a lot of these fancy tea sets also have two sizes of teapots. One is for extra hot water and one is for this. So first, let's just begin by warming our cup and warming our teapot with hot water, which I have. You don't have to fill the entire teapot and the entire cup. I think if you just change the temperature, China gets it very fast. You can like swirl it like this. Okay, and you'll know in a minute. Are we doing that? Let me see what you're doing.
Yeah, we're doing that. So now we
Yeah, we're doing well.
swirling. Okay. Does feel like a wine connoisseur. I'm very
Yes, let's just swirl it around the cup. So this is the weirdest thing I've ever done, by the way, on an interview. Huh? Tell people I'm almost. Oh, that's a beautiful teapot. I'm obsessed with collecting teapots, by the way. Everywhere I go, a teapot comes back with me. I'm quite the family joke.
You have the most exquisite collection.
I love them. I get them from everywhere. It's just like a story to tell every time I travel. So see, my cup is nicely warm. So all the cups can just stay like this till you're ready. And then you just, once your cup is warm, you just like do away with it. I have plants, so I'm just gonna water them. It's warm.
Nice.
Right. So now I'm going to be making one cup. So I'm going to take 1 level spoon of tea. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the pot. And then you pour the hot water over the tea. Even when you're using a tea bag, though I hate it, you basically let the tea bag go in first. You don't put water and then dip your tea bag, right? Done. So I put my 1 cup of hot water. Now, ideally at this point, you should be covering it with what, you know, those old-fashioned tea cozies, so the tea can remain in that temperature. But it's fine. You know, we're going to just wait. Now, every different tea needs different timings to brew sometimes, but at an average, if you're not going all foo fa fa, I think 2 minutes of what they call dum pe laga do is good, right? So 2 minutes of chai on dum, and we can chat away till then.
What is it about tea making that some people do besides making it on a gas that really irks the tepidophobic in you?
I think firstly, it's the overboiling. So you can make tea on a gas. You don't have to. But once the water is boiled and you put in your tea leaves, you have to switch off the gas and shut the lid and let it brew. So you're literally using your bagona or your bartan as a teapot. Okay, so that's okay. It's when you boil the tea to death is when the good value of the tea completely disappears, and that's not what we should be doing. Also, what irks me is the color of the tea. How much of milk are you putting? Then have milk, and then we'll have tea later. You know, it's like you're supposed to, if at all, like the real tea drinkers would not even put a drop of milk, and if they do, like I do, then I use cold milk. Hot milk changes the taste of the tea. You will notice it. Take a cup, put hot milk and drink your tea, and then put cold milk, and you know what I'm talking about. So हो गया आपका?
I knew. आप बताओ. So now what next?
2 minutes अभी हुए नहीं है. Normally you have those tea timers, but now it's all in my head. I think we can.
No, you know, I just knew that I had to do this episode with you because of what a serious activity tea time is at the Mathur Khan household. Talk to me a little bit about what it's been like during lockdown.
Yes, of course. But having said that, when you say Mathur Khan household, when I married Kabir, he was not a tea drinker at all. And I was like, how can I not have a spouse who drinks tea? So very slowly, I've broken him in. And now he's the one who looks around at, you know, tea time saying, chai nahi hai. You know, even when he travels for shoots, he has that company. So I'm really thrilled about that. As far as lockdown is concerned, you know, honestly, Sneha, nothing to complain about, considering, you know, so many people are you know, having it much worse, let's just say. My thing is that, you know, it's very important to keep telling yourself, apart from the fact that, you know, you can't just keep absorbing bad energy and the unhappiness that, I mean, everyone's done what they could, you know, you can go out and help people, you can, you know, do whatever it's in your power to actually do something about the crisis. But otherwise, on a day-to-day basis, you've got to keep the positivity going for your own family as well. So that's why I've been trying to do something different. So all the housework that I've never done in my life, I'm doing it to a beat. Okay, I'm doing it as a contest. Okay, I did this in 1 hour 20 minutes yesterday. How can we better this? Come on, team. You know, so it's like a squad gang going around the house.
I wanted to ask you. I saw an Instagram post that talked about how I love how you're including the entire family in this, whether it's the kids doing laundry or Kabir grabbing a mop. It's not how we imagined celebrity houses to be. You should know.
Well, it's, you can now, COVID has taught everyone who's a celebrity and who really means something, apart from healthcare workers who are actually doing something and essential workers who are actually doing something. We are jobless. Okay, so, but I think it's been a great opportunity for everyone to get down to the basics, to understand what really runs the show. Okay, what is it that goes into? I'm very happy because everyone used to laud it, and now everyone knows what goes into actually running a smooth home, and everyone's taking responsibility. Of course, there are days when everyone just sacks out and says, "Aaj kuch nahi hoga." Okay, we're gonna do jack. So I let them be. But yeah, I've been cracking the whip on everyone, and it's nice to be able to do family workouts. We've had so much more time with the kids, chatting with them, playing games, board games, and stuff like that. Which it all sounds like a pretty fairy tale. We have our bad days. We have enough of like, I want to shut my door and not hear any voices.
So that's what I wanted to ask you, Me. You always give out this vibe of someone who has it all together all the time and someone whose family feeds off her energy. So what happens on a day when you're just not feeling it? How do you break out? Because there are a bunch of people dependent on you to feel a certain way.
I think it's pretty tough for a mother to, especially when you're right. I think, people end up depending on the primary, caregiver for the house, etc. Even though when the world was normal, I would leave for work and I would come back, but I'm a planner. Okay, so I plan everything and I delegate everything so that I know that this is how, because see, I'm not a management graduate for nothing. So I think in boxes, I think in Excel sheets and charts. I'm a bit like Monica from Friends. So I sort of, organize everything even on remote. But now that I'm here and I'm finding this, increasingly that I also have, I need my downtime, I need my me time, I travel alone a lot. So all that is getting to me now, for 3 months. So when I have my off days, the family knows, oh my God, it's one of those days. Don't go near her. Okay, let her binge watch something she wants, or let her just get into the kitchen and bake whatever she wants, just to stay out of her way. So yeah, I pretty much am the breathing dragon, fire breathing dragon when I'm not feeling good. But I think I miss human contact. I miss working. I miss having my crew, or just because I value my life outside as much as I value my life as a homemaker and as a mom. So right now I think deriving more of my energy from the home. But yeah, something's got to give soon. What about you? You have a toddler at home.
Yeah, and I want to chat with you about traveling with kids when we do finally get to do that. But abhi iska kya kare? Is it time now?
अरे देखो यही होता है चाय में बातें. Okay, so now strainer. You have a strainer? Yes. So now, typically, if you are a light tea drinker and you don't want to add milk, you will not stir this teapot and you will pour it, right? But if you need slightly doodh wala chai, you will give it a good stir.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you stir it, the color also comes in, at least in Darjeeling. And then you will... I can't believe I'm teaching you how to make tea. This is most lame.
Not in the least bit. I am so grateful.
See. So now look at this beauty of a color. Okay, just. Why would I mess it up with milk and sugar and oh my God, this is the shiz. Ye pee lo bas. Now, but in case you do you like your tea with milk?
Beautiful.
I
don't know better, so but you tell me
so
how
chalo,
it should.
Let's do it this way. Let's have a sip of this, just the way it's meant to be drunk.
Yeah. Spill the
Cheers.
tea.
Don't spill your tea, okay?
It's good. So good.
Okay. So is it flavorful? That means you've added the right patti. And if not, then you take a drop of milk, like literally a drop, just to make it like literally milky. And that's how the color should be. Not any whiter than this. Perfect. Now, half the beauty of having tea is to just like lay the table out, have some cake and, talk about your day and how you've got a few hours of productivity left and what you're going with it. It's a lovely day to sort of lovely time to break the day and calm down and,
I'm
get out of
finally
it.
tasting the flavors of tea.
Sachi batao na. See, it'll take you a while to get unused to that tea and drink this tea.
No, it's totally different. Kabir had a really big film up for release, 83, and this was literally, it was meant to release right when we went into lockdown. And I can imagine that there was a certain amount of confusion and anxiety at home with regards to what's going to happen. Is that when you really started dishing out the cakes and the paste, everything else that you've been baking?
No, it's not like I start cooking when I'm anxious or anything. I had my own work shit going on at that point, and March was like the busiest work period for all of us, was supposed to be, and it was a run up to his film. And usually before a film release for a director, everyone just stands still and holds on, and there's just so much happening on a daily basis. And we went to watch the rough cut and all of that, and we were set to move into our home 10 days after the film, and nothing was as planned. And the film is ready, and it was a complete, he was working non-stop, and then suddenly lockdown happened, and now it is what it is. For the first 10 days, it was like what the hell is happening? And we thought, chalo, 10 days, 15 days, we'll release it in like May, June. Then it went to July. Then we figured, okay, this isn't going anywhere till, it's safe for people to get into theaters. And it's a 83, I mean, it's wrong of me to say anything about the film. I'm not, part of it, but I do know that his vision, it's a film about cricket. It has to be seen in an arena, it's really unfair to, limit it to a phone or a computer-sized, screen. So I think hopefully everything will get back to its track. As far as starting to cook, because to get rid of the anxiety, no. It didn't happen like that. It just, after 15-20 days, you realize, okay, you've got to do something, otherwise every day will be the same. And though it's not productivity contest, this entire lockdown, I would sit and say, okay, I'm doing nothing, I'm just loving watching TV and doing nothing. But everyone's out like making like fabulous stuff, putting out creativity out there. And I said, okay, right now this is the only time I'll get to go back in touch with food, which is something I put aside because of work. And I just decided that kuch na kuch naya roz hona chahiye. So now it's become a thing. Everyone wakes up and says, so what are we making today? I said, are we making something, or are you just gonna land up to eat it? So they all come very sweetly and photograph what I've made. And, it's sweet. I think it'll end the day lockdown ends, and I don't think I'll enter into the kitchen for the next 3 years. But for now, it's all good.
Yeah, but talking about the day, I'm sure the one thing you're missing the most is traveling with kids, because you've done so much of it like a pro. And I have a toddler myself. We've done a fair share, and I know that it's not easy. So what are some of the pieces of advice you can give to new mothers who love to travel, but now they have more company?
So I learned a few things. I learned that children relax with you a lot more when they're on vacation with you. Okay. So I'm not talking infants. I'm talking anybody who's 3+ or 3.5+. Before that, it's just an ordeal to take them. You must take them. But then you're also doing what you're doing here, over there. But once you can talk to them, and once they can talk back to you, I think they see a side to you that doesn't exist at home. You're not the routinized mummy. Now you eat, now you sleep. You're also, the real you, and you get to make friends with them at a different pace, at a different level. And I always make sure that when I'm traveling, we don't follow these stuck itineraries. Okay, we do as we wish. We try and take the not the beaten path, and try and, because in the lives that we live, we don't have time to actually, like the poem said, smell the roses or talk to people and not be stranger phobic, or just read from a map and figure out your own direction. I think there's a lot of learning and a lot of excitement from that children get from that. And then in a place like China, where nobody understood English, and we couldn't understand it, there was crisis every day, and we were shooting a show with an all-women crew. And my daughter just came back looking at me with new eyes. She's like, my mom can handle anything. And
wow.
I think it's changed our relationship a lot. And I recommend traveling solo with just one of your kids, not both, because then the other one is like a shared rider in a cab, right? You gotta travel with your kids, man. It's great fun. You know, you actually get on the same page, and they know the real you, so that when you come back and you do your momzilla shit, they understand where it's coming from.
You know, that makes so much sense, Minnie, because it's just multiple ways to travel and enjoy travel in different ways, whether it's just by yourself, whether it's with the husband or with the kids. And I think that's very valuable advice. You know, recently I also saw you take to your Twitter to ever so politely shut down a troll who suggested that you should get Botox. And I loved how you said that it's high time the world got comfortable with women aging. You couldn't
Absolutely.
you couldn't have put it better. Is that something you struggled with when you were looking to come back, you know, all guns blazing after both the kids?
So I never took a break when the kids were really small, barring like maybe 6 to 8 months. Like when Saira was 6 months, I was in Taman Negara shooting Is Jungle Se Mujhe Bachao. When Divan was 1.5, I was shooting Indian Idol. So I've never really taken a break from television, but I do have a problem with viewers and especially even production houses not being okay with pregnant hosts, for example. Okay, women give birth all the time, and if you're the face of a show, you're the face of a show. You know, you don't get written off because you have a bun in the oven. I mean, I think it's highly unfair to women. And yes, I mean, I see. I think what disturbs me is that even fiction on television, and I'll come to the OTT part later, which has really improved things a lot, was always about young women playing older women. So you gray your hair and play a mom, whether the son is younger than you, but you know what? You need to look good all the time. Now this obsession with beauty, you know, we need to evolve about what beauty is. Beauty could be the experience you put in behind your work. And I don't mean it as a acidic outpouring of someone who's, you know, had her time in the limelight. I'm okay. I'm saying now with you know, Amazon and Netflix and so many OTT platforms creating content for characters of all kinds. There are women who are in their 40s. So I just did Mind the Malhotras on Amazon, which is about a couple in therapy. It is actually a show that's centered around a couple in their 40s, which I think is amazing. And that's what brought me out to my first outing as an actor, because I believe in the content. And now you see women cops, you see women in crime thrillers, you see not just pretty girls or, you know, the bubbly, vivacious bahu or whatever the shit it is, you know. I have a problem with the way we look at women, and especially aging women. And now, I mean, people like Neena Gupta have proved that, you know, talent is ageless, and there are characters who can hold a film together even if they're 65 years old. And I think there's a great, I think the content has evolved, but people need to evolve with it.
Excellent. That sounds lovely. Thank you for a great cup of tea that I made myself. So I'm really proud of myself as well. I think you've changed how I drink tea forever.
I'm so glad. Yes, absolutely. And now next time when you're, you know, having a cup of tea, do think of me. And one day maybe when the lockdown ends, we can actually do a non-virtual cup together.
I would love that. Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers, Neha. And thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Minnie.